Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining. Thanks everybody for joining today. Hope you're all doing great. We welcome you to another global webinar hosted by Intiv. Today, we will be talking on creating a developer experience on Red Hat OpenShift on AWS. As Red Hat Premier Business Partner for over 6 years, we are proud to bring this webinar in collaboration with Red Hat. We have with us Veerender and Harshika, both senior engineers from Intiv, and Riz Pavel, who is a senior managed OpenShift Black Belt engineer from Red Hat. In today's webinar, we have a good number of topics. We'll start with what is developer experience, also called DevEx or DX. What is Red Hat Developer Hub? What is Red Hat OpenShift Service on AWS, also called ROSA? The various deployment options for Red Hat Developer Hub on OpenShift container platform. We'll have a demo walkthrough of the Developer Hub portal with development and automation steps. And then we'll end with the Q&A session. So folks, you can drop in your questions anytime throughout the webinar. You can use the Q&A box at the bottom of the Zoom webinar. If we have the time, we will take the questions in the middle of the webinar. But if not, as I've mentioned, we have dedicated some time, so we will be answering all the questions then. So please stay till the end and hope you enjoy the session and learn something new. Without further ado, I'll hand it over to Harshika, who will start the webinar by explaining what is developer experience. Thank you so much. Over to you, Harshika.
Thank you, Nadisha. I am Harshika Ranaweera, Senior Software Engineer at Intuit. So developer experience is all about the experience of developers when they are interacting with tools, systems, environments, and processes related to software development lifecycle. Now, if I share my experience on the developer tasks, I had to use various platforms, tools. Switching between them actually cost me a lot of time during doing my developer tasks. So a positive developer experience will improve the team productivity. It will improve the team collaboration, and it improves the team's innovation and creativity. And most importantly, it improves the developer's satisfaction. So the developer experience will focus on few components like the tools and technologies, the collaboration part, feedback part, and documentation part of the developer tasks. So today we are going to show you a centralized platform that you can do all your developer tasks. These are called internal developer platforms, and we are using Red Hat Developer Hub in our demo for this. So why Red Hat Developer Hub? So before that, if we reflect on the Backstage. So Backstage is an internal developer platform framework that was built by Spotify to improve their developer experience. Now, any company can use Backstage to develop their own developer hub using the framework. And Red Hat did what they do best, and they used Backstage and turn it into an enterprise-grade internal developer platform. And it allows to, Red Hat Developer Hub allows to integrate all the Red Hat products and technologies. So the Red Hat Developer Hub is being supported by the community and precise documentation on how to set up deployment and installation and configuration for the Red Hat Developer Hub instances. So if we capture on the Red Hat Developer Hub features, so it's pre-architectured and it's fully integrated with OpenShift platform. Now it has features like scalability, security, centralized configuration management, and it provides cloud native supports, and it provides GitOps and DevOps practices as well. Now, the important part is the plugin feature of the Red Hat Developer Hub. So using the plugin feature, you can integrate various different developer infrastructure into the Red Hat Developer Hub. So today we have deployed our Red Hat Developer Hub onto the Red Hat OpenShift services on AWS. So let me invite Reyes to go through with it here.
Thanks, Harshika. I'm Reese Powell. I'm a senior managed OpenShift black belt from Red Hat, so I support our managed cloud services. Red Hat OpenShift on AWS is a application platform. It is built on top of K8s, and as Harshika has mentioned about doing what Red Hat does best, which is taking open source software and making it ready and available for the enterprise. The idea behind ROSA is the fact that it allows you to focus on delivering applications and bringing value to your organization. As Veerender is just about to demonstrate, it's all about making lives easier so that you can make sure that your organization is bringing the best for your customers. Veerender?
Yeah, thank you, Reese. Hi, everyone. So myself, Veerender, I'm a senior engineer from Intuit. So today I would like to talk about the various deployment options for the Red Hat Developer Hub. So Red Hat Developer Hub can be installed in two ways, like one using the operator and another one using the Helm chart. So it can be installed onto any OpenShift container platform or AKS, EKS, and GCP, etc. So I would like to demonstrate the portal, the features, and also various options of how to create a microservice and also the plugins. So I would share my screen.
Before you start, Virender, do we have any non-Red Hat plugins that can be used in the Red Hat Developer Hub?
Yes, Nadisha. So we can also use non-Red Hat plugins. So basically, this particular page explains like what are the various plugins that gets bundled with Red Hat Developer Hub. So when you install the Red Hat Developer Hub, so there are various plugins that comes default. Not only the Red Hat based plugins, but also Backstage based community plugins, as you can see. So they are already pre-installed with RDH. So in one of my presentation, I would be going through the each plugin and explain like what are the pre-installed and how you can enable them. Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, so this is a landing page, so which can be customized according to the preferences and choices. So basically, this is a sign in for the logging to the portal. So there are two mechanisms, like one using the guest mechanism, so which only like very less features, and like using the identity login. So Red Hat Developer Hub supports identity login, like using like GitHub and also Red Hat SSO and also like Microsoft Azure and so on. So I'll log into it using the GitHub account. So this is a landing page. So it's basically kind of a quick access page to the various developers tool documentation or any start entities. You might favorite some of the components and templates and so on. So next, I would like to walk through the catalog items. So these are some of the catalog items that we have created for the demo purpose and also part of the testing. So basically, these catalog items are various different. I mean, they are type services, APIs, components, and so on. So to add to the Nadisha question, so I would like to go to a microservice to talk about more about the plugins. So this is a demo microservice. So basically, this is created using the Java-based. So this is created using the Java-based software template. So this is a overview page. So basically it contains a about section that describes about what this microservice is all about, a link to the source code, and also a links to the like who owns this service and also the system in which, and also a deployment summary card. So behind the scenes, Red Hat Developer Hub uses a Argo CD plugins to display the Argo CD like a CD workflows, and also a topology. So this topology is visualization of the workloads. So again, this is a plugin, a Tecton plugin, which is used to visualize the workflows and also the CI. So again, this uses the Tecton plugin. So this helps to visualize the various pipeline runs, like what is the status of the last pipeline that's run, like when it started, duration, and so on. So again, this Tecton is an inbuilt Red Hat plugin, and this is like the CD, and it's a Argo CD plugin. So it uses to display like various Argo CD resources and so on, like explaining about the health status and also namespace and like when it's deployed and so on. So pretty much you can see as a developer, you can configure like various plugins to various use cases. like if you want to see the pipelines, if you want to see the CD flows and so on. And these are the Red Hat plugins. And coming to this Kubernetes, and you can see this is a non-Red Hat plugin. So which means as a developer, I have the flexibility to include various plugins ecosystem. So not only the plugins that are from the Red Hat system, and also I can use the community-driven plugins. So these Kubernetes plugins, so pretty much you can see the various resources that are part of the Kubernetes cluster and so on. So not only these plugins, but as I was mentioning here, there are various plugins that are inbuilt, and users can add them accordingly based on various use cases. So now I will jump to create microservice. So I'll go to this create section. So you will find various software templates. So beforehand, I have loaded multiple templates. So Red Hat developer, this has software templates in hand with according to the community guidelines and so on. So in order to load this software templates, I mean, these software templates can be used for the various jobs. If you want to create an Argo CD to an already existing project, or if you want to create a backend plugin, or if you want to create a front-end plugin, or if you want to create a Go application or Node.js application, that can be done. So you can click on the register existing, and you can copy this template YAML, and you can put it here. Then all these application software templates will be available here. So this is one of the important feature of the Red Hat Developer Hub. So you can also customize these templates according to the, again, preferences and choices. So I will try to create a microservice. So I would try to create a Node.js. So this is the form. So basically there are various steps. So the first step is to, give the details about the Node.js microservice. The second step is to give details about the CI pipelines, and also the third step is to give the CD deployment options and so on. So I have already filled some of the details for easy and the time saving purpose. So I'll just try to give some of the details. Again, this can be customized according to the needs. I mean, someone wants to already autofill these details, that can be is there. And select a CI method. So what CI method I want for the pipelines to know, start deploying, start building the image and deploy. So for this purpose, I use Tecton, and I would select the registry, the internal one. So I will fill certain details for CI pipeline to start. Then I will go to the CD part. So again, for the demo purpose, I have auto-filled some of these details to make it quick. And I will be filling some of the CD details. Then this is when I click on the review. So this is the summary page. So wherein all the details that's filled for the creation of the Node.js microservice with the CI details and all the CD manifest and so on. So upon click of the create, so it will start this workflows. So various automation steps are happening. So first is the copy of the skeleton Node.js. Then it will copy the CI pipeline manifest, then CD manifest. Then it will try to generate the catalog information. Then finally it will publish the information to the repository. In this case, it's a GitHub repo. Then finally creating the Argo CD resources for the Kubernetes manifest and so on. Then finally having this create Git webhook to start the pipelines and so on. Suppose if someone wants to see the in detail like what's happening behind the scenes, so they can go to these logs to find out like what's happening. So I can go to the newly created the repository. So basically, as you can see, I have just tried to create a Node.js microservice. So it's already populated with Docker file, catalog info, packages, and also the source folder that contains the index file, and also the manifest file, the manifest directory that contains manifest for the Argo CD application file, and also the CI/CD related manifest. So again, this skeletal structure can be customized according to the preferences. So that software templates, when you fork, you can customize. Then I can go to this catalog component. So this is a microservice that I just created. So you can see again, it have the same features that I was just going through the before in the demo microservice. So it has the root source code, description about this microservice, and also the deployment summary, the topology, explaining about the workflows, the CI pipeline runs. So you can see the pipeline is successfully run. So if you want to drill down a further bit, the building and of the image is done. Then the CD part, the OpenShift it's synced and healthy. And so pretty much, all these details as a developer, if I want to see what's happening with my microservice from the, creation of the pull request to the deployment, every information I can come and see here. And also the Kubernetes cluster details. So this is like achievable using the pre-built plugins. So I would be going to the plugin section, if that's okay. So as I was talking initially, so when we install the Red Hat Developer Hub, so it comes with lots of predefined plugins. It ranges various options, right, from the CI/CD, from the visualization, from the front end and the back end and the database and so on. So how like what are the plugins that are pre-installed? So you can go to this column section. It suggests like if I'm looking at this plugin for 3-scale backend dynamic, so it's already pre-installed, but it's not enabled. Suppose if you want to use this plugin to do some operation, so how you enable? So there is a config map that you will create during the installation phase. So you can come to this point and you can inject that package and you can disable it as false, so that so when you go this here, this will be enabled. So as you can see here, this Janus ADP Backstage plugin analytical provider segment, it's a pre-installed, but I have enabled it using this dynamic plugins. So not only this, the pre-installed plugins, but there are certain plugins that you can use like out of the box. Like for example, if you want to use any community plugins. So in this case, I have used Argo CD backend dynamic plugin from the community. This is from the Rudy HQ for the Argo CD purpose and so on. As you can see, it's not part of the pre-installation step, which have injected and which I have enabled it. So which means coming to the question earlier, so you can use plugins not only from the Red Hat, but also from the Backstage community also.
Veerender, we have a question, if that's okay.
Yeah.
So the question is, what differences do you find between Backstage deployed through Red Hat Developer Hub and an out-of-the-box deployment of Backstage?
Yeah, that's a good question, Narisha. So Red Hat Developer Hub installation, and like I was speaking, reiterating my words. So it comes up with automatic setup of the plugins and configuration and everything, automatically. So when you install Red Hat Developer Hub, it comes with the plugins and tools and infrastructure, so that you can start and you can go immediately. Work starting immediately. With the Backstage, you have to go to certain steps. You have to inject that plugin, you have to rebuild the code, and you have to deploy and so on. But with this, if you want to, for example, use this plugin, you can use on the go, just enabling that one dynamic plugin, the config map that I was talking about. Yeah. The next step is the settings page. I mean, again, if you want to change the look and feel, the appearances, that it can be achievable. So most of you might be under the impression, or you might be having doubts like, okay, this looks like tightly coupled to the Red Hat way of looking. Can I customize this application? So if that's a question, yes, you can customize. So this is the same Red Hat Developer Hub that is installed, but I had to customize to explain like how this can be customized to the users' according and preferences also. So for example, for this is customized according to the intuitive look and feel. So as you can see, if you see the Red Hat Developer Hub look and feel, and this one, it's completely changed. So it provides the flexibility for the developers to have a look and feel of their own choices. And also, if someone feels like they want to have a Backstage kind of a look, again, this can be achievable. As you can see, this is closely having the Backstage kind of look and feel. So there is a pretty good documentation explaining how you can customize. But before going to that, so there is a config map that you will be creating beforehand, so that you can use to configure whatever they need. So this is nothing but it's kind of a version of appconfig.yml from the Backstage. So wherein you can do all the configurations and customization here, like right from the login identification and so on. So this can be configured here. Yeah. So yeah, pretty much it. And I will hand it over to Riz. Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Veerender.
Before Riz, you start, I think there's another question, if that's okay for us to take. Did you use an in-house NPM repository, Veerender?
Yeah, we have not used any in-house NPM repository because the Red Hat pretty much produces all the plugins from its own registry, so that's are available. So that's what the dynamic plugins is all about. So you can load these plugins as a side load, just making the changes to that. If you want, you can also change the source code to inject any static plugins, that are not available as part of the pre-installation step. Yeah.
Thanks, Veerender. And on to you, Chris.
Harshika, if we can have the slides, please. Cool. Why would you choose ROSA for this? As Veerender has just demonstrated, with Red Hat Developer Hub, it's all about giving your developers the freedom and the speed and the capability to stand up applications as they want. So utilizing ROSA is the same for your infrastructure team. ROSA is a first-party service that is jointly provided with both Red Hat and AWS. It's a turnkey application platform, which I'll describe a little bit more in the next slides, and consistent hybrid cloud experience. Next slide, please. So what do I mean by turnkey application platform? As we all know, K8s is very difficult to stand up. Or very easy to stand up, but actually very difficult to get to a productionized state. Once again, Red Hat doing what Red Hat does. It takes best of breed open source software and enables the enterprise to use it in a secure manner so that actually you are comfortable and your security teams can sign it off and all of that kind of thing. We manage the components, we create components, and we support components that allow the organizations to concentrate on delivering value further up rather than having to worry about infrastructure. I suspect most people here are not really infrastructure providers for their customers. So therefore, the more you can remove that, the easier it is to allow your organization to deliver value for the customers. Consistent hybrid experience. We make sure that the version of OpenShift that you're using, be that ROSA, be that ARO, be that on-prem, is exactly the same so that you know the work that you've done in one environment can be migrated to another thing and nothing is lost. Move from 24/7 operations to 9 to 5 innovation. Many of you will be on call and things like that. You know that when a K8s cluster goes down, it tends to go down at like 3 o'clock in the morning, which is always a wonderful experience having to be woken up by that. So we provide the SREs that can help monitor and keep your cluster running. Zero downtime upgrades are provided, proactive monitoring, automated patching. If you want to allow your patch version to be done automatically, you can tick a box and you can enable that within your cluster. More importantly, compliance and certifications. We make sure that when things like ISO 27000 come along, NIST and stuff like that, that we are there. And exactly as you would expect, with it coming from the hyperscalers, a 99.95 financially backed SLA, with a team of SREs helping you to make sure that you get the best for your organization. Next slide, please. As mentioned, it's built on what we consider best of breed open source components. You will see many things on there that you will have chosen for your K8s cluster yourself. Istio for our service mesh, for example, Argo CD as our GitOps operator, and the same kind of observability that you generally use day in, day out. Once again, what we do is we take the open source software, we tie it in to the opinionated platform as a whole. So as you've seen with Developer Hub, it integrates with SSO and things like that to make sure that you're getting the most consistent experience. Not only that, once it's stamped with the Red Hat badge and running on OpenShift, that means it becomes a supported component that the SREs can look after. Next slide, please. So, as we've spoken about, the idea is accelerate time to value, focus on the things that your organization need to do to bring the best value to your organization and to your customers, to make sure your customers are happy. The operational efficiency, allowing your team members to do the things that are right for the organization, but also that make them happy. We don't want to be stuck in a world of toil. Focus on innovation. Give everybody the freedom and the space to be able to do what they need to do and know that the underlying service is going to run. And then the hybrid cloud flexibility. As you can see there, we've spoken about Red Hat OpenShift on AWS. We also have Azure Red Hat OpenShift on IBM Cloud, and OpenShift dedicated that can run on GCP. I'll hand you back to Nadisha, and if there's any questions, we can take them from there.
Hopefully there is. so it's just in time. The first question is, are there any limitation of type of worker nodes instances which can't be included in ROSA?
We don't allow some of the smaller nodes because obviously running a K8 platform requires a level of CPU and a level of memory. Generally, the easiest way to find out is we have a command line tool that you can run, and that shows you all of the supported versions. But we pretty much support everything. I know very recently the Graviton instances have just been added. So you've got a fair bit of flexibility to meet your size and CPU requirements.
Okay, great. Hope that answers your question. The next question is by Alex here. So are the SREs located throughout the globe or are region specific?
So we do have a follow the sun model. So that means that if your cluster does go down at 3 o'clock in the morning, I've been burnt by this many a time in my life, that it is actually somebody who is bright-eyed and wide awake because it is generally their daytime sometime. So what you get is a handover that means that you are getting the right people who are capable to look after the cluster at the right time.
Great. Thanks, Riz. These were all the questions so far. Folks, we are at the end of the presentation. It was a lot, we covered a lot, and I'm hoping that you have more questions to ask. Definitely, we're going to give you some time. We're here. And just in time, there's another question. Okay, let's take that. As public cloud is a pay-as-you-go service, what reporting is available for finance to monitor costs, and what feedback is available for teams?
So you can use the built-in cloud provider tooling for that. That covers off an awful lot of it. There are other tools out there, open source, AWS Carpenter, for example. You can integrate that to make sure that your cluster is running in the right way. So that it's a various combination of different things to make sure that the reporting is done correctly. Tagging is also often an important aspect of that to make sure that namespaces or projects, as we call them in OpenShift, are correctly assigned to the right organization or to the right teams to make sure that that information can be consumed out to be passed on to finance for cross-billing.
Great, thanks, Riz. So folks, we're going to give you a couple of seconds, even a couple of minutes. We are here, we have time. So please put in anything, any thoughts, any questions for us in the Q&A. We have one more by Basant Sharma. Thanks so much, Basant, for asking. In terms of cost, what additional licenses would we need to procure in addition to the Red Hat subscription?
So the advantage of running in the cloud, particularly with Red Hat OpenShift on AWS or your Azure Red Hat OpenShift, is that the cost of the OpenShift component is included in your billing cycle. So it is part of the billing cycle. If you go pay-go, obviously there are other options of negotiations around longer terms of 12 months and 12 months and 3 years. For Red Hat Developer Hub, there is a level of per person license. And once again, that is negotiable. Everything else you see of the default ROSA install is included in the cost. So the SRE costs are all bundled in and everything like that. So there's nothing additional out of the box.
Okay. Perhaps this question is for you, Veerender, but anyone else can take. There is a possibility, is there a possibility to revert the creation of microservice?
I'm not sure like what is the reward creation of microservice, because when we create the microservice, it creates a repository and also CI/CD pipelines. But specific to this, so reward creation of microservice, I do not understand the question. But once you create the microservice, definitely it will create that repository and CI/CD pipelines. You know, it will publish the image, have the deployments and everything. Yeah.
So but all the steps are done, we cannot really
Yeah.
It's done, it's done. Okay.
Yeah.
We might have to manually go and delete. Okay. Hope that answers the question. It's by an anonymous attendee, so probably you can put another question to us. We actually really appreciate all the questions that you've been asking us. Thanks. One more. This is by Nagraja. How easy is it to meet the HA requirements?
Fairly easy. By default, the cluster will build across the 3 availability zones. So you get your inbuilt HA through that method. If you have even greater requirements, there's obviously conversations you can have about making sure that that cluster is stateless, that your data stores are outside of the cluster, you're replicating that somewhere else. And one of the big things that we push, and obviously Developer Hub shows this greatly, is follow the principle of GitOps so that you can very rapidly stand up a new cluster if you need it, or if you really need it, you can have a cool kind of standby SAT in another region. But generally, by default, following good architectural principles out in the cloud is your worker nodes and your control plane nodes run across the multiple AZs to make sure that if an AZ does go down, you've still got 2 more to keep everything running.
Okay. One more by Nagraja. What tools are available to configure, monitor, and manage HA environment?
So like I said, it comes HA by default, really, because of the way it stands up. Within the cluster itself, there is a lot of monitoring and alerting that is built in. So you stand up the cluster and you can straight go to the observability section and start digging in, writing your own queries, but there's various dashboards and there's various alerts out of the box. You can send your alerts to wherever you want to, or you can also forward some of the logs that you want to from the cluster itself. One of the big things is once you start deploying applications is that the configuration of your monitoring and alerting and where you put your logs, you have to do that for the applications because we don't know or understand that. And more importantly, we don't get access to any of that because it's your side, it's your data, and it's not something that we want to touch.
Fair enough. Okay. 2 more questions. That's good, folks. Keep it coming. First is, when opting for Red Hat Developer Hub, is it a container image that can be used? Or how does the consumable artifact look like? Would you want to take that, Veerender or Chris?
Yeah. Nadisha. I mean, it's a container image. So basically, and you can use various options like I already explained as an operator or as an Helm chart. Yeah.
Okay, great. So the next question is, to create a new Backstage plugin, do I still need a full Backstage dev environment? And where would the developer publish it to, the Backstage plugin?
So all Red Hat plugins are, supported as a Backstage ecosystem kind of a plugins. So they are open source and under that guidance and so on. So any plugin that gets created will be, there is a specific registry and repository for the Janus IDP. So where all the plugins are stored. Yeah.
Hope that answers your question. Thanks so much, folks, for asking. We really appreciate all the questions being asked. We definitely have more time for a few more if you want to ask us. Otherwise, in the meantime, Veerender, what is the difference between a Backstage plugin and a Red Hat plugin?
So as I was explaining in previous answer, so Red Hat plugins are, it's a Backstage ecosystem plugin system. So they work only with each other. So all Red Hat plugins are kind of a Backstage plugins. You can just plug and play how you use a normal plugin. So yeah. So some of the plugins are, enterprise grade with more added efficiency to that plugins. For example, like Argo CD, there is a open source community plugin and also from the Red Hat plugins also. But with the more features and more efficiency and more situations for this plugin, yeah, based on the different use cases. Yeah.
Actually, someone asked, can one contribute to Red Hat plugin? Are they open source?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, the Red Hat plugins are also open source. Thanks, Nagraja, for finding the session interesting and helpful. I appreciate. Thank you so much. Yes, this is a recorded webinar, and we will be sharing the link of the recording with you, hopefully in few days. So yeah, please look forward to that. I think we can end the session here, if that's okay. If you have any questions, if you put it across, we'll definitely take it. Like I mentioned, this is a recorded session, and we will be sharing the link to the webinar recording Hope you found this session helpful, interesting, enjoyed. You can contact us by visiting us on the Intiv contact page or on the Red Hat contact page as mentioned here, or you can also email us at info@intiv.com. We'll have the contact details definitely in the email that we'll be sending you shortly. I would like to thank Riz, Veerender, and Harshika for the excellent presentation and your time. Thank you so much. Hope you guys enjoyed, like I mentioned, and have a great rest of the day, folks. Thank you so much. We'll end here.